Hello children, this side Pooja Sharma, your physics teacher from Cambridge International School, Dasua. I hope you all are fine and healthy and your families too. Children, I'm back with the next class of your physics. So let's begin with the session for today. So children, the chapter which we are doing is chapter 8 of your science book, that is motion. And before we are going to proceed on with today's actual session, we have to go on with the recap of whatever we have done till date. So let's do the recap first. Let's revise first what we have already covered, and then I'm going to carry forward the session. So in the previous videos, we have done the numericals based upon the concept of equations of motion. There are three equations of motion. How we have to use the equation, how we have to put the formula, we have to do the calculation. I told you that. In that, you need to keep one thing in mind. Already I discussed this a lot with you, but let's revise that once again, because this is the very important point which you need to keep in mind, that use the formula in which only one term is unknown and rest all the terms are known. Fine. So if you do this, you will have the correct formula for your numerical, and you will have the correct calculations, and you will have the correct result. Fine. Don't forget to write the unit along with your result, because that is very, very important. Otherwise, you will lose some of your marks for that. Next is while doing the numericals, you need to keep one thing in mind again, that is conversions. If your different quantities are having different units, like one is having CGS unit and one is having SI unit, then you will never get the correct answer. Fine. Or it has to be as per what is asked, or there has to be proper conversion done. So if you do that, you will definitely get the correct answer. So I hope this concept related to numericals is clear to you. Now we are going to proceed on with the next topic of your this chapter, motion. Yes, we have to do some more numericals, but that we do at the last of the chapter now. And I be giving you the worksheets based upon that as well. So the topic which we have to do today is uniform circular motion. From the name itself, I guess it's gonna be clear to you that what is uniform circular motion. So let's understand the meaning of this name first of all. It's uniform circular motion. It consists of three words: uniform, circular, and motion. Where motion means movement, circular means a circular, a closed path, and uniform means with uniformity. So whenever an object move in circular path with uniformity, the motion of that object is called as uniform circular motion. Now children, the given clip is from your NCERT book related to the topic. So let's read it and clear it. When the velocity of an object changes, we say the object is accelerating. Obviously, you know that what is acceleration? The change in velocity. Now, the change in velocity, like we say that when the object changes the velocity, it is accelerating. Now, this velocity changes because of three things. Either because of the change in magnitude, second because of the change in direction, and third reason is that both can happen. The change in magnitude as well as the change in direction, they both can happen at the same time. So if out of these three, change in magnitude, change in direction, or both, anything happen, it means the velocity is going to be changed. And if the velocity is changed, it means the object is accelerating. Can you think of an example when an object does not change its magnitude of velocity but only the direction of motion? Well, this is all what we are going to do today. The uniform circular motion. When the object moves in circular path, this situation will arise. Okay, so let's understand. This question is going to be clear to you, and this question is very well asked in your exams also, that the magnitude, the velocity will not change, only direction changes. Is there any possibility for this? So yes, there is. Let's do how. So there are four pictures to make the things clear. So let's get started with this. Let us consider an example of motion of body along a closed path. Let's say we have figure 8.9a. The figure is going to come. This figure shows the path of an athlete along with a rectangular track A, B, C, D. Let us assume that athlete runs at a uniform speed on the straight path AB, then BC, then CD, and then DA of the track. In order to keep himself on track, he quickly changes his speed at the corners. How many times will the athlete have to change his direction of motion while he completes one round? Now, it is clear that it moves in the rectangular track once. He has to change the direction of motion 4 times. Because it is a rectangle, so there are 4 changes. From A to B he goes straight, then again change from B to C, then again change from C to D, then again change from D to A, and then again change. Okay, so 4 corners, 4 bends, 4 changes in direction. Fine. And only then the one round is going to be completed. Now suppose instead of a rectangular track, the athlete is running along the hexagonal shape A, B, C, D, E, F, as we are going to show you in figure 8.9b. Now in this situation, the athlete will have to change his direction 6 times while he completes one round. Let's see. A to B, 1. Then from B, the direction changes. B to C. Then from C to D, D to E, E to F, F to A, and again A to B. So there are 6 turns which the athlete has to take to complete one round. Now what if we change this track again? Now let's see how. Now the track was not a hexagon but a regular octagon. Octagon means 8 sides, means 8 changes. Fine. With 8 equal sides as shown in the figure A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. That is figure 9.8.9c, which I have shown you already. It is observed that there are, as the number of sides of the track increase, the athlete has to take the turns more and more often. Fine. Now what would happen to the shape of the track as we go on increasing the number of sides indefinitely? If you do this, you will notice that the shape of the track approaches the shape of the circle, and the length of each side will go on decreasing. Fine, will decrease at a point. What I mean to say is that in rectangle, the lines are having big length. Fine, more length. In hexagon, the length reduces and the sides increase, the corners increase, the bends increase. In octagon, length more decreases and the bends increases. Fine. Now if we make a circle, means a turn at every point, so the length will keep on decreasing. It reaches to the just like a dot. Okay, and the turns will keep on increasing. Now, if the athlete moves with the velocity of constant magnitude along this circular track, the only change in his velocity is due to the change in the direction of motion. Because the velocity is constant, there is no change in magnitude. Only the direction keep on changing. Fine. So the motion of the athlete moving along the circular path is an example of accelerated motion. Or we can also say this is the example of uniform circular motion. Let's recap what we have done again. So when we have taken the rectangle, we have to take 4 bends. The lengths are big in size and we have to take 4 bends. When we make hexagon, the length size is reduced and the bends are increased. We have to take 6 bends. When we make octagon, the length side is more reduced and we have to make 8 bends. You can move on with decagon. The length side will be more reduced, but the bends will increase. You have to take 10 bends. Now, when you reduce the length more, you will form a kind of circle. And you will see that in this circle, the bend length is reduced, but the bends are so increased. Fine means you have to take bend at each and every point. So in this case, the velocity's magnitude is constant. Its value is not increasing, decreasing. It is moving with uniformity. But there is a change in direction at every point. So because the direction changes, it means the velocity changes. So this kind of motion is called uniform circular motion, and we also called it as accelerated motion. Now it will be asked in the exam that why this is called accelerated, because in this circular path the velocity direction changes at every point. So there is change in velocity, it means there exists acceleration. Now we know that the circumference of the circle of radius r is given by 2r. Fine. It's 2 pi r. If the athlete takes t seconds to go around the circular track of radius r, the velocity will be 2 pi r. When an object moves in the circular path with uniform speed, its motion is going to be uniform circular motion. We are going to have an activity. This activity you have done a lot of time in your childhood. So what this is all about, and you're going to very well relate this with your uniform circular motion. Okay, so let's begin with the activity. Take a piece of thread, tie a small stone onto one side of the thread. You understood what I mean to say is take a thread, tie a stone, and then keep on rotating. Move the stone to describe the circular path with constant speed by holding the thread at one end. You can see the picture which is given below. I guess there is no need of picture also. You are smiling and you are able to contact with what I'm talking about. So anyhow, now let the stone go by releasing the thread. Now release the thread, leave the thread, the stone will go in some direction, in some path. Okay, can you tell the direction in which the stone moves after you release the thread? By repeating the activity a few times, like now you have to do this activity 2 to 3 times, and every time when you stop, when you release the thread, the stone go in one particular direction. It's not that always the stone go in one direction only, the direction will keep on changing. Now what is this? By repeating the activity for a few times and releasing the stone at different positions of the circular path, check whether the direction in which the stone moves remain the same or not. As I already discussed with you, that you will be wondered after knowing this that the direction is not same. Fine. One time when you release the thread, the stone goes in one direction. And second time when you release the thread, the stone goes in another direction. So the directions are not going to be same, they are going to be different and different. Now if you carefully note this, on being released, the stone moves along a straight line that is tangential to the circular path. This is because once the stone is released, it continues to move along the direction it has been moving at an instant. This shows that the direction of motion changed at every point when the stone was moving along the circular path. Okay. Now it said that when you release the thread, it goes in direction that is tangential to the circle. Now what is this tangential means? Tangential means in a particular path, and that is going to be 90 degree to your radius. Okay. Now let's make this clear. Let's suppose we have a circular path. A line AB is going to cut that circle. Fine. A line is going to cut that circle. So it cut at 2 points, A and B. Now, is there any line which cut the circle at 1 point? Yes, it is. That is what we say. Let's say this is line C. This cut the circle at 1 point. Okay, so this is called tangent. Fine. Now, in this tangent, the object is going to move when you release the thread. Okay, now when an athlete throws a hammer or a discus in the sports meet, he or she holds the hammer or the discus in his or her hand and gives it a circular motion by rotating his or her own body. Once released in the desired direction, the hammer or the discus moves in the direction in which it is moving at the time it was released, just like the piece of stone as we did in the activity described above. There are many more familiar examples of objects moving under this uniform circular motion, such as, now it can be asked that tell some examples. So the satellite in the circular orbit around the earth, the cyclist on the circular track, the needles of your clock, the movement of your fan, the rotation, earth around the sun, moon around the earth. These all can be your examples of uniform circular motion. Now children, this is all about uniform circular motion. I am going to give a recap to whatever we have learnt once again. The movement in the circular path with uniformity is uniform circular motion. In this, the velocity is constant, velocity is uniform, it's not going to change, but its direction will change, because you cannot make a circle without changing direction. Imagine you are going in a straight path and you are making circle. Is it possible? No, never. If you have to make a circle, you have to take turns again and again and again. Fine. So there are changes in direction. It means there exists change in velocity, and if there is change in velocity, it means there exists acceleration. Fine. So this is why this motion is also called accelerated motion. We have done the examples, a lot of examples. Fine. The needles of the clock is one of the examples you have. The athlete, you moving with uniform velocity in a circular path. So it is moving in, he is moving with the uniform velocity, but the path is circular, so there is change in direction, so there is acceleration, there is uniform circular motion. Then we did how to find its value. So when you have to find the value of uniform circular motion, so to calculate the value, what we have to do is we have to find out the speed, and speed is what? Distance over time. As we move in the circular path, so distance is called the circumference of the circle, so that is 2 pi r, and divide by time, so time we take it as t. So 2 pi r over t is going to give you the value of the speed along this circular path. So children, this is all for today. I hope you enjoyed, you understood, you learned. Please read, revise, practice this topic once again. It's very easy, you can easily understand it, you can easily go on with it, but yes, you have to revise it once by yourself, okay, to have more clarity about it. So till then, take care of yourself, your family, stay safe, stay home, stay healthy. Bye bye.